Mapupo fezeka amimele khalam amimele moto yami
and he basically refurbishes places. He doesn't build them from scratch. And he went on holiday for some time. He had to be away, and he put a camera and left his workers to work. Mind you, he was paying them well. And at 3 a.m. in the night, who does he see stealing cement? The guy's being paid, but he's still, like, one of the workers was stealing cement. Now, how do you work with that? How do you work with that kind of, like, short-sighted, scarcity-like mindset? You're being paid to do your work, but you still feel the need to steal cement. And he lost a job because of cement. Make that make sense. Hey beautiful souls, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time visiting, welcome to the Grace Tribe, and if you're a returning subscriber, hey boo, welcome back. Hey guys, so I decided to do a update video because I realized I did a 6 months update video when I was back in Ghana, but I haven't done one ever since, and basically I've left Ghana now. So I've decided to do a 1.5 year update because that's how long I lived in Accra, Ghana. So guys, grab a cup of tea, make yourself comfortable. I'll try and make this video as quick as possible because I'm actually heading out to go and meet a friend soon. So yeah, I don't want to take up too much of your time. But anyway, so living in Ghana 1.5 years, what was my experience like? Is it overhyped? What is it like now? Is it still worth going? Relocating? If that's something that interests you to know what my experience or what my point of view is, keep watching. So I would say Accra specifically, because that's the city where I lived in. I don't know about any of the other cities outside of Accra, so I can't really talk about that. But Accra in 2025, I would say is not the same as how it was maybe like 5 years ago. I would say I think a lot has changed. It's become much more expensive, and obviously the popularity of Ghana has gone up, so a lot of diasporans have been moving there, and so it's kind of changing the dynamic and, you know, the feel of the place. There's, I'll say, pros and cons to that. So I would say, is it overhyped? In my opinion, I have to do a disclaimer. I have to do a disclaimer because these are my opinions, my experiences, my reality, and they're not facts. Because I believe everyone can go there and have a very different experience, different reality, and it all depends on, I would say, how much money you go with. So if you go with loads of money, that already helps a lot if you go with a big budget. And then I would say if you're able to network and meet like good people, and especially people in very, like, how can I say, useful positions. If you can network and get to know people that are in positions that can help you when you need help, that will help you a lot, trust me. Also, I would say, apart from networking, finding a group support system, like people you can really trust. And I feel like that's the main important thing when you go over there in Accra. Finding people that you can really trust, that's gonna help you go a long way, because I think a lot of the experience that I had to do with stuff to do in relation with money and people that you can trust or not trust. Like, a lot of the situations that I faced had to do with dishonesty, basically. And that's what made me exhausted, guys. That whole side of Accra, I would say, even like just Ghana and Africa in general, like corruption, dishonesty, just the mindset, the backwardness, it's a general thing across the continent, and I feel like it just varies in levels according to the country and the city, because I think also Accra is not the same as outside of Accra. The mentality will be different. So yeah, the mindsets, the mentalities, Africans, we have problems. We have serious problems. It's not changing anytime soon either. So if you're trying to go over there and thinking, yeah, I'm gonna change stuff and blah blah blah, just save your energy. Save your energy and your time, because you're more likely to leave before anything else changes. Don't try to understand it. Don't try to change it, because you just end up discombobulated. That's the best word that I can use to describe how some of the things, the mindset and the way that people behave sometimes can be. It can leave you feeling discombobulated because it just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I feel like a lot of stuff as well, you only understand what once you're underground in a day-to-day and you're dealing with stuff and certain situations and you face certain challenges, then you'll start understanding. So I feel like Ghana is a nice place for me personally to visit and do like 3 to 6 months, and then do 3 to 6 months elsewhere. Like I couldn't just stay there all the time, because as I said, it gets exhausting with certain things that you face. A lot of the times it's related to like landlord issues, anything to do with transactions and money. I find that you can get into it with people start to get selfish. There's a lot of like scarcity mindset, lack mindset, and so when people are in like that kind of mindset, they can behave in like irrational ways, or it feels irrational. So yeah, it's not cool. I think that's the part that wears people down eventually and makes them tired, especially if you're like if you've grown up in a city like London where there's efficiency and there's regulation. There's no regulation over there. So when things go left, you can be put in situations where you can feel powerless. You feel powerless because there's no regulation, and who do you go to, where do you go to? And even if you go there, you still have to pay the people to do their work, and you're not guaranteed that, you know, you will have what you're asking for, or you get a service, or that you'll be helped. So you just like a lot of frustrations build up, and it's whether you have the thick enough skin and, you know, it's not for faint-hearted. Basically, I'm saying if you're not easily adaptable, you're not very flexible, if you're very rigid, you're not patient, and you have low tolerance, Accra, Ghana is not for you. Don't go there. Don't go there. Save yourself time and energy. Honestly, listen to people like us who have experienced it. We know what we're saying. And all of this, I think it's also depending on the kind of lifestyle you want to live out there. So if you want to live like a comfortable lifestyle, you know, live your best life out there, then yeah, you're gonna live in a certain way and try and do things a certain way, and things might not pan out how you expect or want to. So I would advise that if you want to relocate, be very grounded in your approach to relocating to Accra, Ghana. Guys, so another thing that I wanted to add is that when you are relocating or thinking of relocating, you are actually leaving one set of problems in a certain city or country to go and embrace a new set of problems in a new city and a new country. So like when you're thinking of relocating, just like question your intentions, like why are you leaving, what are you trying to run away from, and what it is that you think that you can't get where you're leaving from that you're going to get in the new location. Yes, there's pros and cons, and there's also pros in each country, but also just bear in mind that if you're running away from certain problems in a certain country and area, you are going to a new destination, and you will have to manage or embrace or accept a certain new set of challenges and problems, basically. So it's just up to you whether you can deal with those new challenges and problems, or you know, which one can you deal with. some people might be like, you know, I prefer it back there. I'd rather go back. At least I know how to like handle or manage the problems over there. Whereas in the new ones, you might feel like a fish out of water. So I'm basically just trying to say that, you know, nowhere on this earth is perfect, and every country and every city is going to have its pros and cons and challenges, and it's just about where you feel like you can manage or deal with life more, you know. There's no perfect place on this planet. So yeah, if you think you're going back to the motherland and it's going to be kumbaya with the ancestors and stuff like that, you've got a hard awakening, a rude awakening waiting for you when you go over there. It's not the case. The people in those places have their own challenges and their own things to deal with, and it's nothing personal. It's just humanity and life. And so yeah, you might go back to the motherland expecting it to be kumbaya, and then it's not like that, and you get very disappointed, and you pack up and you go back disappointed. So I just thought I'd put that out there as well. Anyway, bye. Also, I would advise that maybe visit a few other countries. So visit like at least 4 countries. Do a month or 2 or 3 minimum, I would say, in each country, and then choose accordingly, because going there on holiday, and you know, especially if you're only going during dirty December, you're not actually experiencing the real Accra or the real Ghana. You need to go there when it's not dirty December, and you know, try and see how the locals are living, how other diasporans are living, you know, network, talk to people, find out their experience, and see if you can actually realistically, feasibly live there. I think it's a good place to do business if you can find trustworthy people and you have the budget for it. I definitely think it's good for, like, you know, Airbnb, renting homes, anything to do with property and, you know, selling homes or building homes. I think it's good. I mean, one of the reasons I went out there was to try and build eco-sustainable homes, and we're still waiting for funding. So yeah, things don't always go as planned, but it's not a place where I think I would live long term unless I ended up marrying a Ghanaian or something like that. I don't think so. It's not for the faint-hearted. I think a lot of people said that if you can live in Ghana, in Accra, then you can live anywhere in the world, and it's true. Like, for example, I'm still waiting on my landlady to refund me my deposit. Can you imagine? Even after the fire and everything happened, we're still going back and forth because she refuses to refund me my deposit, and she wants to use that money to fix stuff in the apartment, and the faulty AC inlet that caused the fire, she wants to use my money to do that. This is the kind of foolery that you will be exposed to. So yeah, I remember a lot of times just feeling, I don't know, I didn't like the feeling of feeling powerless or injustice. You can experience a lot of stuff and feel like injustice is happening to you, and you feel like you're a victim of like a lot of circumstances or things that happened. So I didn't like that side of living out there. And yeah, also I felt like as a diasporan, there's only so much I could integrate. Like when I thought about it, a lot of my friends and the people that I ended up hanging out with and making great connections with is they're all diasporans, or even if they were Ghanaian that have lived outside of Ghana for a few years. I never really integrated and bonded properly with the locals because I always felt like there was a wall or barrier where they were like, yeah, but you're not Ghanaian, or you're from the West, so you're from elsewhere. And so they always had a different attitude, or there was something where we couldn't really bond like that. I couldn't really integrate with the locals that much, and I'm a pretty friendly person, so yeah, I don't force connections either. But I think the other good side of being there was the connections that I made so many cool connections, so many good people that I met out there, and I was really lucky to meet those few good people that I can now call friends today. So that was the good side. But apart from that, I think Accra right now is just all about the vibes. It's hype, vibes, and that's about it. Because once you start living there, you realize Accra is very small. It's like a village. It gets smaller and smaller. You bump into the same people all the time because there's only so many places that are like developed, and all the diasporans or all the foreigners or anyone that likes a comfortable lifestyle, cafes and whatever, there's only so many in Accra. You end up going to the same places, so it was starting to feel like a big village basically. So yeah, that's the other side to it. You will eventually get bored. It's not like London. It's not like other places. I can't talk about other countries because I haven't lived there, but I've heard countries like Kenya, or I've been to South Africa a few times. I've got family there. Even that's different. That's much bigger and more developed, so it'll probably feel more like a city than Accra. Accra felt more like a village eventually. So yeah, there's also like that side to it. You will eventually start getting bored. So the thing that keeps you there is, what kind of connections have you made? Do you have a steady flow of income? Is income coming in? Is your business working? I think those are the things that will keep you there if you have a partner relationship. So yeah, if you're going there, make sure you have steady flow of income, because it's becoming very, very expensive. A lot of things are imported. So I feel that ideal would be to go there with like a remote job and earn in a different currency, like euros, I don't know, dollars, pounds. That way you can always like live comfortably. Or if you're earning in local currency, then just get a high paying job, because like every city in the world, I'm realizing the locals over there, if you're earning in the local currency and the average that they're earning, you won't like, yeah, it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable, and a lot of the locals can't even afford the lifestyle over there anyway. They can't afford life over there, and that's a reality in every city, to be honest. Because if you come to London, it's the same thing. If you speak to the average person, what they're earning, most people are struggling to make it to the end of the month, and they're living from paycheck to paycheck. So I feel like that's just a reality in every city nowadays. Capitalism, guys. So it's a global thing. So yeah, I hope I haven't like been rambling, and I hope that from my experience you can get out of it what you find useful, and you know, get insight if you're planning to relocate, or if you're going there, or I don't know what it is that you're planning to do. But I hope that you find this video useful and you can learn from my experience. Maybe like what I've experienced, you're thinking, yeah, nah, I'm not really trying to put myself through all of that. So so yeah, yeah, you have to be mentally prepared, but I feel like no one can really mentally prepare you for what you're going to experience, because your experience is going to be your experience. So if your soul feels like going over there, even if it's for a year, for a sabbatical year, then do it. But just know that if you're coming from the West, the mentality, the lifestyle, the approach, the perception is totally different. And yeah, some things are gonna rub you up the wrong way. I feel like the spirit of dishonesty is very hard at work over there, guys. The dishonesty, and some stuff is like, well, why did you need to lie about that? You didn't need to lie about that, or like go some roundabout ways instead of just being straight to the point. I don't know. I don't know, and I'm never gonna understand it. So, but I feel like that's not just particular to Ghana. I feel like that's an African thing across the continent. It's gonna take several years and generations for these mindsets to die and to change, because it feels like, I don't know, I feel like if you're born into a certain environment, certain lifestyle, that's just all you know. And so sometimes maybe you just get used to the suffering, the chaos, and that's just how you operate, and you don't know how to operate outside of that. And anything outside of that is like, oh, well, like, no. That's like all the stuff that the conversations, the things that I've witnessed and experienced, and I'm like, wow, like you actually think this is okay. It's okay to behave like this, or it's okay to say this, you know. And also having to pay people to do their work. What's that all about? Yeah, guys, all those things made me really tired. So I need a break from Ghana and Accra, and maybe when I have more energy I might go back there, probably just to visit friends and maybe try and see things on the business side. But apart from that, I don't think it's a place I'm ready to live in long term, because it's just tiring. And when I think of like the building side of things, just the thought of it, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know if I'd even have the energy for that, because I have a friend who's a Airbnb owner, and he basically refurbishes places. He doesn't build them from scratch. And he went on holiday for some time. He had to be away, and he put a camera and left his workers to work. Mind you, he was paying them well. And at 3 a.m. in the night, who does he see stealing cement? The guy's being paid, but he's still, like, one of the workers was stealing cement. Now, how do you work with that? How do you work with that kind of like short-sighted, scarcity-like mindset? You're being paid to do your work, but you still feel the need to steal cement. And he lost a job because of cement. Make that make sense? And that's kind of foolery that goes on there. There's like so many examples. Like the number of times I heard someone that I knew who was like a restaurant owner and would call up and like be in like anxiety because basically the waiters didn't show up. No one showed up. Why are you not showing up? Spirit of sabotage. I'm telling you, like, honestly, there's just so many enemies of progress when it comes to so many things that I'm like, yeah, I don't have the energy all the time for this. I'm sorry, I don't have the tolerance. So it's stuff like that that made me tired. The bad customer service, or lack of customer service. There was none, actually, basically. And I think what hurt me more is that not only is there no customer service, is the lack of care. They just don't care. When something happens, people just don't care. What? Yeah, no, I'm good. So that was my experience. Do I feel like Ghana, Accra is overhyped? Kind of. Yeah, I do. It can be a bit overhyped. I don't think Ghana in general is overhyped, because I think there's some really nice places and that you can visit, that you can holiday in, and probably the vibe is different in other cities. But as for Accra, yes, I do think it's overhyped. And yeah, you kind of, it's not a big deal after a while once you've lived there for like over a year, I would think. So yeah, I think the things that would keep you there is a good support system, good friends, a relationship. If your business is booming, it's doing well, you're actually making profit and stuff like that, that's what's likely to keep you there. But when it comes to like development and things to do and whatever, there's loads of other cities on the continent where they provide that. There's more efficiency, there's actual regulations, and so you know where to go, and you know you can actually complain, and your complaints will be like resolved and stuff like that. I think in South Africa, half of the foolishness that goes on in Accra, in places like Joburg, it probably just doesn't exist, because there's regulations and there's laws that you have to follow, and if you don't, there's actually something can be done about it. Basically, there's consequences. Whereas in Accra, I felt like half of the time people just get away with stuff. There's no consequence, and bygones be bygones. So yeah, guys, that was my experience. On the flip side, I think it turned out to be more like a sabbatical year for me. I was really bad before I left. My health wasn't that great. Mentally, I wasn't great. I was exhausted working over here 9 to 5. I needed a break, and so I feel like as an African person, when you go back to the motherland, it's always resourceful. Like, it just nourishes you being in the sun, you know, being on the beach and just like grounding on the earth, and yeah, just being on the land where you were born, where you came from, and seeing that the majority of people look like you, it does something like to your subconscious mind and whatever. It helps with your confidence, and it just makes you feel a sense of belonging when you're back on the continent. And I think that it's good for that. It's good to go back there and resource yourself, and you know, I feel like myself again. I feel better, I feel healthier, and I think that it's great for that. But when it comes to actually day-to-day living and, you know, stuff like that, we're not quite there. We're not quite there because people are not ready for change, and people have to be ready for change and want change for things to actually change, and it's not happening anytime soon. So don't go there with the mentality of trying to change the people and how things are done, because unless the locals themselves want change, it's not going to happen. So the best thing you could do is just enjoy your time out there, make the most of life, and then yeah, keep it moving. Keep it moving. There's loads of other places in this planet, in this world, where you can go, you can make money, you can make life happen, you know. So yeah, I think that that's basically the conclusion that I came to. So I hope that you found this video useful. If you have any more questions or you want me to do a part 2, let me know if I've missed out anything, and I'll try and do a part 2 or do more or answer questions in the comment section. Thank you if you've made it this far into the video. I think it's like 21 minutes, so I'm gonna stop here because I don't want the video to be too long. I've been rambling. I need water. I'm getting dehydrated, so I'm gonna sign off over here, guys. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the comment section and in the next video. Bye.